Tibet and South Africa share one unique relation for the last 2 decades, a friendship based on non-violent struggle for freedom. This documentary tells the story behind the development of this relation over the years. It was in the year 1998 when His Holiness the Dalai Lama made his maiden visit to the Republic of South Africa. His Holiness was invited to give talk at the World Conference on Religion for Peace in Durban, where His Holiness met with prominent personalities and community leaders of various tribes. The highlight of his South Africa visit was when His Holiness the Dalai Lama was invited at the Ganadandal residence, the official residence of the President of South Africa at Turnhuis, Cape Town, to officially meet with the then President Nelson Mandela and former State President Frederick William de Klerk and Bishop Desmond Tutu.
He comes to our country at a very critical moment, when we are trying through this non-violent and peaceful transformation to create an environment in our country where we can successfully address all the problems that face us. And I am sure his visit will contribute to the creation of that environment.
Thank you very much. So now, today I'm very, very happy, extremely happy to have this opportunity, meeting this person. There are millions of people who admire this person. So I'm one of them. Now today, my dream fulfilled.
During an hour-long meeting, the two leaders discuss on establishing Tibetan representative office in the country, which will help spread the message of compassion, non-violence, and presence of Tibet in years to come. By early 1990s, the Tibetan government in exile felt the need to have an office of Tibet in the Middle East and African continent to raise awareness and seek support for Tibetan freedom struggle and the Central Tibetan administration.
계지 나나 간주 표현 겹교라 아니 댕조 체지 겹교 칭에다 아니 가서 각자 칭에 직보 차베 내대 차와 니 값들라 엔 타메게 조주 샤도 자는 거죠 의지기 쇼버래 디인도 전에 국주 거장로나 벽에 내더니 시우지 계주도나 아니 댕조 칭보 차 연도 전에 랑신기 단단 타메게 군제 계지 돌아간 좀 니밥 야 차장 마양 군제 가르치나 조미 도달 현적을 총미 압중 나왔음나네 인 총미 주탐을 아프리칸 용기어래 인 총미 단도 네가 칸이 아니 기셰 에시안 용기어래 인장 안주 갑들라 아니 지 계지 돌아 네바 체도 되면 용와라 아니 아프리카다 기셰 에시에기 아니 겹조 메비나 농조다 아니 야tung 계급 가져 겹조 예비나 디 아니 네바 차장아 용기면 시자 아니 지 아프리카다 기샤 에시에 토라 베든 다 데베기 아니 레구 베다 지 던져 가지고야기 레구 대화 차에 독스레.
Consequently, in the year 1993, the Middle East and Africa desk was created at Department of Information and International Relations. In the year 1995, the desk was moved to the Bureau of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in New Delhi.
디 데제나라 차례 나도잖아요. ngache ngege roba masud bat ani nisar ahmad and tahir shamos je phebe khajusum tangam shig ani dezen ko tsogre di ko tsudu zare rangshingi miudi ani kisha asia ta africa nala phogine dondi ani chikhabe chege miure.
His Holiness visited South Africa again in the following years, in 1999 and in 2004, giving teachings and talks. His Holiness met with the President of South African Inkatha Freedom Party, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and with former President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. The Office of Tibet was officially registered on January 12, 1998, under the Companies Act of 1973 of the Republic of South Africa. It serves as the official agency of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration, which has its seat at a small town of Dharamshala, located in the North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. The Office of Tibet is manned by 2 officials, an executive director and a deputy secretary. Mr. Ngudubdoji Shingchen is the current representative of the office in Pretoria, which is one of the 3 capital cities, serving as the seat of the executive branch of the government and as the host to all foreign embassies in South Africa.
The Office of Tibet in Pretoria was established in 1998 with the blessing of late President Nelson Mandela, and it functioned as the official agency of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration. The office strives to promote cultural, religious and educational exchanges between the people in Africa and the Tibetans, raising the awareness of Tibetan people's freedom struggle and to provide factual information to counter the Chinese propaganda. As a result of our effort, there is substantial political and moral support for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan freedom struggle in Africa. The Office of Tibet works very closely with all the Tibet support groups that are functioning or they existing in South Africa.
The jurisdiction under Office of Tibet South Africa includes all African countries except Francophone countries of Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia and Libya. Along with the Office of Tibet South Africa stood 4 Tibet support groups over the years. They are Tibet Society of South Africa, Tibet Support Group Cape Town, Tibet Support Group Kenya, and Tibet Rescue Initiative in Africa, Pretoria. The Lumbrian Buddhist Center is one of the first Buddhist retreat centers built in Johannesburg by Geshe Thamche Yönten in the year 1993. The center offers meditation and Buddhist courses and works in constant collaboration with the Office of Tibet South Africa on creating awareness on Tibet. His Holiness the Dalai Lama visited Lumbrian Center on November 4, 2004. His Holiness visited Lagos, Nigeria on November 26, 2008 to deliver a keynote address at Anyam Ozekwe Lecture on the invitation from the Foundation. In the year 2009, when the news of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's scheduled visit to South Africa did not materialize, many reported it as a step to keep Tibetan politics from overshadowing the 2010 FIFA World Cup. When His Holiness the Dalai Lama could not visit South Africa, a political debate sparked within South Africa about the country's political and business interests with China. The government was accused of selling out sovereignty. In the year 2011, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was invited to attend and address the gathering at the 80th birthday of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Unfortunately, His Holiness the Dalai Lama could not attend Archbishop's birthday celebration. Following the news of delay in issuing visa to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the part of the South African government for the celebration, Archbishop Desmond Tutu had then said that it was a total betrayal of the South Africa's history of struggle.
You are disgraceful. I want to warn you. You are behaving in a way that is totally at variance with the things for which we stood.
In February 2012, Archbishop Desmond Tutu flew to Dharamshala to meet his friend His Holiness the Dalai Lama and to celebrate together his 80th birthday at His Holiness's home in exile. Archbishop was welcomed to a rousing crowd of locals and Tibetans at the courtyard of the main temple.
I want to say to the Chinese government, this His Holiness is the most peace-loving person on earth. I want to say to the Chinese government, His Holiness has no army. He does not command people with guns. His Holiness separationist.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama was again unable to visit South Africa when he was invited to attend the Nobel Peace Laureates World Summit in October 2014. The Chinese Foreign Affairs spokesperson came out with a statement in September that year, accusing His Holiness the Dalai Lama for engaging in persecuting China's sovereignty and territorial integrity overseas, despite their flexing of their own sovereignty over the South African government in the name of trade ties.
南方呢，将继续支持中方的主权和领土完整。
Archbishop Desmond Tutu visited Dharamshala again in the year 2015 to celebrate His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday. South Africa and Chinese government came together as trading partners in the early 1990s, and since then, the two trade in billions of dollars each year. The two have become increasingly close with strengthened trade policy and political ties. China is also a key investor across Africa and the continent's largest trade partner. It has been reported that the Chinese embassy officials in Botswana have been scrambling to stop Botswana from opening its doors to His Holiness the Dalai Lama in August 2017. His Excellency Ian Khama, the former president of the Republic of Botswana, stood unfazed of Chinese pressure and said Botswana is not a colony of China and His Holiness the Dalai Lama is welcomed to his country. He made his presence as the chief guest during the commemoration of the 60th Tibetan National Uprising Day in Dharamshala, despite his government's reluctance to let the former president attend the anniversary under Chinese pressure. The former president had an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where the two leaders shared a thoughtful conversation on tackling global issues through dialogue.
The biggest threat to democracy on the globe and to a peaceful and stable world order is Communist China. As a friend of the Tibetan people, I will continue raising awareness for a free and liberated Tibet. It is unfortunate that today a lot of countries rely on China for trade and therefore decide to stay mute when issues of a free Tibet and human rights abuse are raised. However, what countries and people fail to realize is that by turning a blind eye to the oppressive regime, they are equally responsible for that oppression that is taking place there.
Since the last visit of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to South Africa, the then president of the Central Tibetan Administration, Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Sengye, visited the country in the year 2018. The Chinese embassy officially issued a press release condemning Sikyong's visit and tried to keep him away from talking to the students of a prominent law school and hired 100+ migrant laborers to protest his visit.
Not only officially they protest, but issue press releases, but they go out of their way. So that means, on the one hand, it's good that the Chinese government notices, the CTA's presence. The fact that they have to hire people to protest means, you are making some impact. On the other hand, it also shows how powerful and how strong the Chinese government is flexing their muscle to different, governments around the world.
The then Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, Pema June, took part in the State of the Nation Address 2020 upon receiving an invitation from Inkatha Freedom Party of South Africa.
The State of the Nation Address is joint sitting of the Parliament, and the President speaks to the nation on a wide range of economic, political and social issues facing the country.
Sandy Kalyan, a South African Member of Parliament from the Democratic Alliance Party, slammed China for protesting and threatening the country for allowing the Tibetan political leader to visit the country. The Member of Parliament called on China to stop threatening her country by holding their investments as ransom. She clarified that if China wishes, it should go. South African members of parliament Kevin Milham from Democratic Alliance and Mukuleko Halangwa from Inkatha Freedom Party strongly raised the issue of Tibet in the chambers of South African parliament in the year 2019.
Tibet has never lost its statehood. It is an independent state under illegal occupation. The issue of human rights, however, including the right of self-determination and the right of the Tibetan people to maintain their own identity and autonomy, are, of course, legitimate objects of international concern, regardless of Tibet's status. China is not the solution to South Africa's problems. It is not a panacea to the racial, ethnic, and economic divides of our country. It is instead just another country with its own set of challenges, although these are much better hidden than elsewhere, largely because the Chinese people are unable to speak out against their ruling elites.
So as India was able to stand up and give home to the Dalai Lama, we too as South Africa must be able to trade with China without negating our human rights outlook.
African countries' relation with China is more economic and transactional in nature. China needs raw material for its industry and market to sell its product to Africa. And Africa needs Chinese investment for its economic development. However, China can never replace a deep systemic relation most of the African countries have with their former colonial countries such as Great Britain, France, Portugal, and Belgium. These relations are in terms of political system, economic, language, education system, and even in religious belief system, which is deeply rooted. The Chinese operate in Africa through their political elites, but most of the general public do not have much sympathy and appreciation of the Chinese activities in their country due to opaqueness of the deals and lack of transparency. As long as China remains an important economic partner in Africa, mobilizing political support for Tibet's freedom struggle is going to be a challenge in the foreseeable future.